Well, hey everyone, it's me, Eric Kimball. I'm standing out here in my mini bed experimental garden on this mostly cloudy but occasionally sunny March day, and I am evaluating the infrastructure here. Now, if you have been watching my videos over the years, you know that I've made lots of videos about the mini bed gardening system. I have been through 7 growing seasons, 7 years so far with this infrastructure in place, the mini bed gardening infrastructure, which is the plastic, the bunker cover plastic, and the wood frames, the mini bed frames, and the pins that hold the frames in place. That's the infrastructure. And part of the experiment here, besides seeing, how productive such a garden like this could be, is to see how long the infrastructure materials would last. So as I said, I'm into I've been through 7 years, I'm going into my 8th year, and it's been a wonderful experiment because the mini beds have been manageable and productive, and the layout, the setup here, it's, I always forget, it's 78% of this area is covered with the plastic mulch, so I don't have to do any weeding. And these mini beds are like islands of manageable productivity in the midst of this mulched area, okay? And the mulch keeps the moisture, the subsoil moisture, it keeps it from evaporating, and these mini beds can get the moisture that they need. For the most part, here in my growing environment, here in upstate New York, they get virtually all the moisture they need. I don't have to water them. These beds are not raised, they're not going to dry out, they're right down to ground level, okay? And it's the system works, but it's the infrastructure, the plastic and the mini beds. After 7 years out here in the environment of upstate New York, which is a lot of rain and snow and all of that. We got it all here. And so I want to walk and talk. I want to show you the mini beds and the plastic, and we'll talk about that. And then I'm going to show you how to make mini bed frames, because some of these do need replacement. So here's an overview of the mini bed garden. And I started out with 45 mini beds, and I added more. These mini bed frames are SPF 2x4 lumber. SPF means spruce pine fir. It's the basic stuff you get at the lumber yard. It's not pressure treated. Here you can see a mini bed with garlic. I've got 13 bulbs. That is the ideal placement and number of bulbs for the bed. I've made several mini bed videos about the garlic, about planting, about harvesting, about mulching. These beds here have been here for 7 years. I fully expected that these would rot, and some of them have, some more than others. And here's one you can see it's come apart, and it has some rot, and I may or may not replace that. I think I can get another year out of that, and especially if I tie a string around it like I've done over here. You see on this one I've got a string, a polypropylene, like a baling twine string. I'm on my hands and knees crawling here. Yeah, so we get mushrooms like that, and we get rot. And so some of these frames are just going to need to be replaced. I expected that. I hoped, as I explained in the mini bed PDF download, I hoped at the beginning that I would get 5 years and out of these frames. And I've got more than that. I've got 7. I'm going to get 8. A lot of these are not showing the rot for whatever reason. So there's one right there. It's going to last. I've got a string around that one. I'm going to show you how to make these frames because I'm replacing some of these. Over here is the worst looking one. Give you an idea. Here I've got comfrey. We've got the bluebird house right there. They've been flitting around there, checking it out. This is the absolute worst mini bed frame right there. So let's, yeah, look at that. So the mini bed frame is mulch. Well, that's some nice soil. And here you can see, I think if I keep it in focus, a screw. I'm going to talk about these shortly, but that screw right there is going to work for making the new frames. I think I've got about 8 or 10 that absolutely really should be replaced. Okay, yeah, here's one that I think I should replace. You see, look at that. right there. Actually, it's still together. I could get another year out of that. You know, I don't care what they look like. They're serving the purpose. They're holding the plastic down so that it does not billow up and blow away. This plastic has stayed down. It's never been a problem with billowing up. Now look right here. We've got screws here. 1, 2. So yeah, and what I'm going to do also, all right, here is I've got room for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mini beds that I never put in. Okay, and I'm going to get mini beds. I'm going to expand the garden right there. I use the tire sidewalls. I planted squash there, but we're going to get mini beds in there because I've got the wood, as I'll be showing you shortly. Oh, here's quite a rotted one right there. And what do we got for screws here? These look like just 3-inch drywall screws. No, they're 3.5s. They've got a little rust on them though. Now, typically, I should explain that in past years I've planted winter rye and in the fall, and it would be greening up and starting to grow right about now, but I didn't get it planted. I harvested rye from a couple of mini beds. I have the seed, but I never planted it. So what I did was, in most of these beds, I put shredded leaves. Okay, so, well, let's see what the soil looks like under here. Look, oh man, see, it's just beautiful. The soil is covered up with the leaves, and you know, it's just, that's what you need. You need to keep that soil covered. That is gorgeous soil. I picked the rocks out of it, and we've just treated the soil right here in these mini beds, and it has rewarded me with crops. There's one that I'll be replacing. See how bad that is? The point is here, there are frames that need to be replaced after 7 years, but not all of them. I need to tell you about the plastic. This UV plastic that I put down. It has not degraded at all that I can see. There's no discernible decay or breakdown of this plastic at all. None. Zero. What I have had is areas where I've punctured it with a sharp tool, like right there. You can see a patch. See this patch? Or where my dog, I've got a spot over here, I let the mini bed grow up to weeds. Didn't manage it one year, a lot of these, and the mice came in, and there's where you can see this patch right here. I've got a video about that, about how to patch, okay? And it can be done. You get the little U pins. Let's see if I can pull one out. No, I can't. They're in there pretty good. Here, look here. There's a hole. See that? That's physical damage, and it can be patched. So that's that. Now, let me tell you all about how I'm making replacement mini beds frames. Lacking a workshop, I'm set up outdoors here, and I'm getting her done. I've got a couple of classic carpenter sawhorses. I got an old plank over the top. I have clamped right here, a couple clamps to that plank, my old portable table saw, and I have been ripping the wide boards down to 3.5 inches. As a matter of fact, here is the last board I ripped, and here is a video of me ripping this board right here. It was a 2x6 that was part of my house, and I saved it when I put the addition on. So what I have is lots of old lumber, and it's wood that I've saved for years. A lot of it was stuffed under my shop here in the back, and I am not buying any wood for mini bed frames. Those mini bed frames have lasted me 7 years, and in that time I managed to save enough wood here for replacement frames. So this chop saw setup here, I want to cut all of these at 28.5 inches. What I've done is screwed my chop saw down so that it's not moving, and I have a stop right there. That's my stop that will allow me to cut 28.5 inches over and over and over again, and I have right here some scrap pieces of wood for support. Look at that. That's the nice thing about a carbide blade. Keep the RPMs up, you can burn right through those nails. I didn't realize those were in there, but it didn't surprise me. Okay, 28.5 inches, square cut, that's what I've got. Yeah, we're on 0, and I'm gonna pile them up here, right on the tailgate of my truck. This one right here is the one I've been looking for. It's my last one. Glad to say. I'm here now in my little workshop where it's much warmer, and I'm going to make these Minibed frames. Now, all of that salvaged lumber that I had, that you've seen, made 80 side pieces. I got 80 side pieces, enough to make 20 mini beds. I don't need 20 mini beds. I'm going to make as many as I need, and I'll save these sides for when I need more. And in the meantime, I'll be salvaging, collecting more inexpensive, free wood to make mini beds as needed in the future. Because this system is worth maintaining, in my opinion, based on my years of experience with it. So let me just show you how I'm making these. Okay, these screws that I used to put the Minibed frames together 7 years ago were these right here, the ones you just saw me take out. Here's some newer ones left over from 7 years ago. These are number 10 by 3.5 inches. They're exterior screws. They're fairly expensive, much more expensive than, for example, a 3-inch drywall screw. But I can tell you I did make a couple frames out of the 3-inch drywall screws 7 years ago, and I didn't like the way that they were going together. In other words, I didn't feel like they were going together really securely. So I sprung for the more expensive screws here, and I'm glad I did, because the two frames that I made with the 3-inch drywall screws, one of them, it broke. The screws just broke unexplainably. Not all of them, but one corner did. I walked out there and it's like broke. They just both broke. And that's what drywall screws do. They tend to break. None of these have broken. These number 10 by 3.5 inch, you got a lot more grab going into the end grain with a screw like this. And when you need to remake your frames, well, they're still going to be in good shape. Every one of these side pieces needs 2 screws in each end. And I need to mark out the placement of those screws, and I need to drill a clearance hole, or a mostly clearance hole for the screws. So to mark them out quickly and easily, I made a little jig like you see right here, or you could call this a fixture. When I went to work in the prison system many years ago in the industry, I used the word jig, and my friend George informed me, Eric, we don't use the word jig, it's a fixture. And yeah, so jig or fixture, or whatever you want. You can see that I have 2 little holes there. I want my clearance holes for these screws to be 3/4 inch, you know, because they're going to go into 1.5 inches, so halfway. And then I figured, well, might as well go 3/4 inch from here and here too. And so, yeah, I'm just gauging this with my fingers, getting it in the right spot. I'm making a little indent mark with my awl. The awl is a wonderful carpenter tool. You have seen me use an awl in videos before, and in a future video, I think I'm going to discuss the best carpenter's awl that has ever been made, and this is it, and there's several reasons why, but we'll save that for later. I want to drill a clearance hole, or a mostly clearance hole, for these number 10 screws. So what I have here is my drill gauge, and I'm trying to find out what kind of bit I would want. That's 13/64 right there. It goes through. That's a perfect clearance hole, 13/64, but I don't have a bit that size, so we'll go with 3/16. We'll go down a touch, and it'll be a mostly clearance hole that I'm drilling, which will be plenty adequate. So we're just going to get right on those little indents, go all the way through like that. My little shop space here, this workbench does have its limitations, but I'm going to make it work because it's cold outside. I could work out on my deck, and it would this would be easier, but it's going to work. Here we go. Yeah, I'm flushing up with my thumb over here, and piece of cake. Now let's see. Get our next one here. Yeah, it's a pain. Got to get these in the right configuration. Well, we're going to get it here. This is my first one. I should be filming my second one and have this all worked out. So I'm getting it flush with my thumb over here, ready to screw together. Nice. And get this one here. We're going to go right here. I wonder if that's in view. Get her flush. We're not building fine furniture, but we still want to do a good job. You know, you always want to do a good job, right? Here we go with the last corner. Get up here. Get flush. Drive them home. Yeah. Beautiful mini bed right there. Okay, so here we are at the really bad one. And put that old frame in the old bucket here. And get that old comfrey out of the way. You can see I got some rye stalks there. And we'll clean off the plastic a little around the edges. This plastic here is bunker cover plastic. I have a small section of this garden, very small, which is bunker cover plastic, which is different from the other plastic. Did I say bunker cover? This is not bunker cover. This is billboard cover, billboard plastic, recycled billboard plastic. This small section, and it's PVC. But the bunker cover plastic, look how nice that soil is. Isn't that gorgeous? The bunker cover plastic is polypropylene. And the PVC here, the billboard plastic, is not lasting as well. Here's our mini bed frame. We have 3 pins that we're indexing onto. That's all you need. It's in the report. These pins tend to work themselves up over the winter. And that's it. We're ready to plant right here. Maybe I'll plant some peas. It's not too early for those. Oh, I just love to run my hands through that soil. That gorgeous soil. That's it, folks. That's how we'll get the weeds out of there while we're at it. That's how we make these mini bed frames and get them in place. And I'm looking forward to the growing season. Yes, I am. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.